Now tell me who can stop me. I'm in the zone.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for stopping by the video today. I hope everyone's having a great day at that. And today we're just going to be doing a little video about the recent cinema phenomenon, Star Wars The Last Jedi, Episode 8 of the Star Wars trilogy. And don't worry, there's not going to be any spoilers in here. I just wanted to give you my overall reaction to the film and where it ranks amongst all the other Star Wars films for me personally. Now, before I get into this, I just want to say it's my opinion, so if you disagree with it, I applaud you. I'm glad you can disagree with me. That's amazing. But don't give me a hard time about it. Don't think I'm an idiot. It's just my opinion. It's how I see things, and I'll try to give you some decent explanations for why the movies are ranked how they are. So let's get into it. So number 8 on my list is going to be Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Now, The Phantom Menace really didn't do anything right for me besides some of the visual directing, and I mean, Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor were okay, but other than that, it was really just an awful movie for me. I don't think the story or the narrative added anything to the Star Wars saga, and just a really awful movie that left a bad taste in my mouth. If you want to know more about that, check out my Star Wars The Phantom Menace review, and I wouldn't recommend seeing the movie if you haven't already. It doesn't really help you understand anything that's going on in the story, and it's really just a pointless movie in my opinion.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
On to number 7. This was tough for me, and I think a lot of people might disagree, but I'm going to go with Revenge of the Sith. Now, Revenge of the Sith, a lot of people, I think a lot of people think it's a pretty great movie. There's some good lightsaber fights, but for me, the lightsaber battles were much too choreographed, and just, it didn't give me the Star Wars feel I needed. I felt that movie, although it had some really exciting moments, it was mostly just fan service and what fans wanted to see, and connected to the original trilogy, which, although it was good, I didn't appreciate very much.
Die, Jedi dogs! What did I say? Dear, I'm terribly sorry about all this. Excuse me, I'm trapped. I can't get up.
You call this a diplomatic solution?
No, I call it aggressive negotiations.
Uh-oh.
R2, what are you doing here? What are you doing? Oh, stop that! You're going to strain something. My leg! Oh, now where are you taking me? Oh, this is such a drag. Oh, I'm quite beside myself. R2, please be careful. You're sinking my circuits. Is my head on straight?
Now, on to the 6th movie on our list. We're going to go with Attack of the Clones, and I know some people think this is the worst Star Wars movie, but for me, I thought it was really good. I thought Hayden Christensen's acting was and of course the romance scenes were probably some of the worst scenes in Star Wars, but when I was balancing it out against Revenge of the Sith, moving one above the other, I just thought fan service or about 10 minutes of romance scenes, maybe 15 minutes, and I ended up going with Attack of the Clones because everything besides the romance scenes I thought was really well done. I thought they improved upon the space politics aspects of the prequels that they tried to do in Episode 1 but failed miserably. We got to see some badass Yoda moments, and I love Yoda, and the Coliseum scene is one of my favorite scenes in the entire Star Wars saga, so that's why Attack of the Clones is going to be number 6.
What? Yahoo!
So moving into number 5, this one also might be a little controversial, but before we get into the original trilogies and the new movies where they rank, I just want to say I love all those movies, and they're all probably my favorite movies of all time, so, you know, they're just missing hairs for how they're ranked here. But number 5 is going to be the original Star Wars, New Hope. Now, although A New Hope was a really well-made movie, really well-directed, one of George Lucas's best works besides maybe American Graffiti, it was really an introduction to the Star Wars story, a story that was meant to be told throughout 3 movies, and it didn't feature much action, and that's okay because all the things it did do, all the dialogue, everything was really well done, but it wasn't as exciting as the other movies in the original trilogy for me, and for that reason it's going to be the lowest ranking out of the original trilogy at number 5. So for number 4, this was really tough for me because I know which one's the better made movie, but I also know which one's my favorite, so I gotta go with putting The Empire Strikes Back here, because although I admit The Empire Strikes Back is better than its next film in the series, Return of the Jedi, I didn't like it as much. There's a lot of great scenes in it that's probably arguably the best acting we've seen in the original trilogy, and some of the best story arcs, some of the best surprises, some of the best action scenes, but I mean the battle on Hoth, I mean that's awe-inspiring, but it just came down to personal preference, and that's why The Empire Strikes Back is at number 4 for me.
Good. Use your aggressive feelings, boy. Let the hate flow through you.
So number 3 on the list is going to be Return of the Jedi, which was my favorite out of the original trilogy. And before I get into it, I know a lot of people consider it the worst made movie out of the original trilogy, but to me, I'm a huge Luke Skywalker fan, and we got to see some badass green lightsaber Luke Skywalker action, which I freaking loved. So that's why Return of the Jedi is so high. Plus, I love Endor. I love the little Ewoks, and the last scene between Vader, the Emperor, and Luke is one of my favorite scenes in cinema history. So Return of the Jedi cracked the top 3 at number 3.
Raider! Okay, big deal. Thanks.
Don't move. TK-338, we have targets in custody.
Now I know what you're thinking. Holy shit, he's ranking The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi higher than the original trilogy. Let me explain. So, as a Star Wars fan, I think anyone who was alive in the late 70s, early 80s, and got to see the original trilogy in theaters, or even to the a little bit older than me who got to see the prequels in the theaters, those are probably their favorite Star Wars movies, because you got to sit in a cinema with all these fans crying and laughing and just enjoying an experience together. And that's why I have The Force Awakens at number 2 all-time in my favorite Star Wars movies, because when I went to that movie, I just remember being in a cloud of emotions with thousands of people, and it is in my top 5 movies of all time. They introduced me to these new characters, and I felt like I was back in the 70s when A New Hope came out, and I was sitting there getting introduced to this new world with this amazing director like J.J. Abrams, and I just thought it was such a good job at creating a new Star Wars for my generation. That's why The Force Awakens ranks here.
Something inside me has always been there. But now it's awake. And I need help.
I've seen this raw strength only once before.
So, number 1. Yeah, for me, it's The Last Jedi. Like I said, I'm a huge Luke Skywalker fan. I'm not going to spoil anything, but we get a healthy dose of Master Luke in The Last Jedi, and I loved it. Not only that, this is such a well-made movie. When you look at this non-biasedly as a non-Star Wars fan, there's hard to even see a flaw in it. The directing is some of the best it's ever been. The narrative is some of the best it's ever been. It's unique without being corny and stupid like the prequels, at least the Phantom Menace. And on top of that, the new characters finally take off, and everyone, even the people who were fans of the prequels and the original trilogy, is connected to these new characters and fully invested in their stories. And now we know, going into episode 9, this is Rey, Finn, and Poe's story. And that is amazing. And they did a great job of pushing the original cast in there and leading these new characters and putting them on the pedestal that Luke, Leia, and Han were once on. Well, anyways, guys, thanks for checking out this video. It was just a real quick one that I wanted to run through after seeing The Last Jedi. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I'm sure you'll love it. Try to keep an open mind if you're a huge fan of the original trilogy. And I know a lot of fans disagree with it, but just try to open your mind, as this isn't going to be a normal Star Wars movie. Different things are going to happen in this plot, and it's not going to be what you're expecting. And I think if you can open your mind to that, it's a good thing. So anyways, guys, go check it out. Peace and love. I'm out of here.
I've been busy working all night, and I'm telling everybody I'ma get it.